Had to wait for my new graphics card, but since then I've just been playing Fallout. So
I beat it, but it was nothing. I returned it right after I beat it to EB Games, and just,
I can see why.
Yeah, but it reminds me a lot of the first Assassin's Creed. Though there wasn't anything like to me that like really got me, and then Assassin's Creed 2 was like much better. Even though like I've stopped playing after it was much better. So I'm hoping Watch Dogs 2 will be better.
well, we could talk about this.
I'm not gonna. Yeah. Hi everybody. How's it going?
First topic.
Special. Ooh, here on a Wednesday, spooky.
Ooh,
you know,
Wednesday.
It seems to be the trendy. Anytime we pop up, it's us three because we don't live on the west side and we don't have school. Well, you have school,
I
but
got off school today earlier.
his schedule works. So
My schedule's good.
who are you, by the way?
Oh,
who are we
me.
joined by? Who is the Trinity, by the way?
I am the student, apparently. Dylan Buss.
I'm the employed Taylor Field. No shots fired at anyone else.
I'm the unemployed Travis Snail on.
I too am the unemployed.
Yeah.
I just came from work. I'm sorry.
Hey, if you need some work in Kelowna, let me know. Until then, I'll be chilling, writing scripts. Let's see. We didn't say this on the bloopers episode because that was filmed a little while ago, and it was just bloopers all over. But we wanted to thank everyone for listening for the Star Wars episode. Biggest episode yet.
Yep.
Huge numbers.
Yep.
So we got, that's literally our biggest episode. We know probably a lot of the average, like, everyday listeners listen to that, but if there's anybody new, thank you for listening and try and be up top on that news. But yeah, and it's still climbing. And it hasn't every day I check. There's like one hit, so
Star Wars hype is still real.
Yeah, which is a little annoying because at least with the first episode, it was like, okay, 283, that's what we got to beat. But now I don't know what we got to beat because it keeps changing every day, the numbers. So I don't know. So we got to get like at least to probably like 400 next time with like Force Awakens. I guess that's the goal. No, Force Awakens 2. I mean, Star Wars 8.
What if they just called them that?
Star Wars The Force Awakens
1,
2.
2, and
Yeah, that'd be kind of funny. So, but yeah, we're just doing a mini newscast today, talk about some news. We haven't talked about much news lately. We're going to do a roundup.
Early December.
Yeah, we're going to do like a roundup next week. We're going to do probably some news of like what we've missed and whatnot. And we're going to do some predictions of 2016, and then last note is this Friday, tune in. That's our year-end special where we have our Game of the Year, Movie of the Year, TV of the Year for everybody. We didn't decide on one because that would have never happened. We could have never picked just one. We almost probably, for game, we probably Fallout because there was a lot of love for Fallout on the cast. A little spoiler, but at least over half the cast was giving it some love.
Exactly. So. The people who played it.
Yeah. yeah, I guess so. Anyway, so the first thing we'll talk about is obviously near and dear to Taylor's heart. Are you going to be able to tell us what's going on, or I'm going to...
I can tell you what's going on.
So Taylor, big Assassin's Creed fan, he runs a page, Assassin's Creed Universe, that's been well documented. That the love is strong.
It's a great page. They love them there.
Yeah, exactly, I hope.
Yeah, so too.
So what is going on over there in Ubisoft land?
Well, Ubisoft... They've always blown us away with all their stuff every year.
God. See what we mean? Just a love fest. Like,
you can't say every year. Everyone knows.
Yeah, what about Unity?
I don't know what's wrong. I didn't have any problems with Unity, so I can't speak on behalf of everyone else.
And Watch Dogs was kind of a meh, as we were just talking about.
I wasn't there for the hype of Watch Dogs right away. I got into Watch Dogs a few months after. Didn't beat it, but we'll put that aside till later in this podcast.
We'll come back to it, don't worry. We'll get a full guide of Taylor's time with Watch Dogs.
Much anticipated.
Yeah.
So the rumor is out, and it's come from, I thought it was just one source, but I looked into it a little bit, and it's popping up everywhere that it's the new Assassin's Creed will be delayed until 2017. So they're skipping their usual yearly release for games.
Which before you bring up the rest, that's huge. That's like when we were talking about this before you got here. When's the last time that happened? Like when they had
Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, I believe.
See, that's the only time.
Even with Assassin's Creed 2 and 3, they're numbered, so it's technically a sequel. But then after Assassin's Creed 2 came out, the next year they released Brotherhood, which was a continuation, a whole game on itself, and then Revelations came out after that the next year.
That's the one I think we forgot was Revelations. Is there 8 console games?
Assassin's Creed 1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelations,
Dylan and I were
3,
talking about this off-cast, so we wanted to know.
Black Flag, which is 4, Assassin's Creed...
Just the consoles, not the
Rogue.
There was Rogue,
I had never
right?
heard
See?
about Rogue.
I knew we were missing a couple. So there's 9 or 8?
Unity
and Syndicate. So there's
9, yeah.
Yeah, so we were right. We said like 8, 9-ish. So.
Pretty good.
Rogue is like the underdog, kind of.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering about this is, because there's 2 companies that work on the Assassin's Creed games, is this delaying it a year because only one company is working on it now? Is that confirmed? Have they talked about that?
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Like, because they got different branches, like Montreal and all that. So I don't know which one is supposed to be working on this.
Next one.
So they've not confirmed anything. This is just your
This is all
AC
just
fanboy
rumors.
speculation.
It's all speculation, yeah. So
Okay.
there's really nothing to go on except for the fact of what the theme is.
So before there's the theme, what game, like, what are the two companies? There's just Ubisoft and there's Ubisoft Montreal, right?
Well,
So they're both extensions of Ubisoft. I
Yeah.
thought there was like a separate one.
Well, yeah, it's Ubisoft and then Ubisoft Montreal. It's just like they're like the branches that work because like people always get confused. They think it's Ubisoft pumping out the games every single year, but while one Ubisoft Quebec or whatever was working on like Assassin's Creed Unity, another Ubisoft branch in another part of the world was working on like Syndicate. So it just happens to coincide with being a yearly release.
So do you know was it just Ubisoft doing Watch Dogs?
I don't know who else was helping with Watch Dogs. I can't remember that.
I'm gonna
The
find
first one,
out.
you mean?
Yeah, the first one. Because my thing is, do you think the delay, in your opinion, do you think the delay is because maybe a team has been working on Watch Dogs, so there's not another Assassin's Creed game, or do you think this is gonna become a new thing now that you won't get Assassin's Creed game every year? Like, if you had to guess.
I think Watch Dogs will become a new thing, but I think they'll probably switch it up. So like this year Watch Dogs, next year Assassin's
I think
Creed.
one of the things with Watch Dogs is everyone was hyped for it before it came out. I was super hyped for it, and then it kind of just fell flat. So it's one of those things where we look at like Witcher hasn't really been popular until number 3, but now it's humongous. So if they nail it with Watch Dogs 2, they could do that.
It was developed by
Every couple
Ubisoft Montreal.
Montreal.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
See, Watch Dogs is like, as you said, it's like Assassin's Creed. Like, and Assassin's Creed 1, I'm pretty sure that was just to test the waters, because Assassin's Creed 2 was a huge improvement all around. It was a perfect sequel.
Yeah.
And so, if that's anything to go by, I'm sure Watch Dogs 2, if that's what they're thinking of sliding in this year, then I think it'll be awesome.
Yeah, I agree, because there's good things in the game. It just didn't, like, grab me. I bought it because I was the same thing. I was really hyped, and, like, I actually can't remember where I was, but I missed the E3 where they revealed, and that's all I heard about. It was like The Division. It was all I heard about was Watch Dogs, and I saw, I was like, this looks really good.
Where I saw it,
Yeah, and then the only thing that was a little bump was when it got delayed. People were kind of like, oh, but then the hype was kind of back, and then I got it, and it was just kind of like, it was good, but it just felt a little hollow. Like, it felt like it was missing something, so hopefully whatever was missing is in this game. But so you think it'd be like, now they'll do if this next Watch Dogs is successful, you think they'll switch off? So you don't think Assassin's Creed
they'll rotate each year.
But that's what I mean, like, they're not gonna, you think Assassin's Creed coming out every year is probably dead now?
Well, like, for me personally, I love it.
I know you do, but I mean, like, you gotta agree that I think there's a little fatigue growing on the series, I think, because this year did not, between Unity not performing as well, and then this year, like, obviously the numbers are still new, but it did not sell as well as other ones. You don't think people that are not Assassin's Creed fan are a little fatigued? Because you look at someone Kirkland, he used to love them, and now he's kind of like, I'm done with them, because it's like, every year, here you go, every year, where there's no breathing room. So, like, you think this will be the kind of the death of, like, every year coming out?
You know, it's a start, because
It's a start of a death.
well, yeah.
So you're saying if Watch Dogs
that.
2 doesn't work, then it's back to Assassin's Creed game every year?
I mean, we got to the point where Ubisoft was putting out an Assassin's Creed game each year, and then with Unity, they released Unity and Rogue on the same day. So we got to the point where we get 2 new Assassin's Creed games on the same day.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
But
That happened?
That happened.
No, but it was because one was only for one console, one was for the other. So you missed that caveat. Rogue was only for last gen, and then Unity was for the next
But
gen.
they were 2 different
But
games
still,
completely.
No, it's still, that's still huge.
So that's,
That's a weird idea. I don't know why. That just hurts your sales.
It's the
Why
same.
would they do that?
It's the same that I think it's a weird idea that they picked 2016 to take the year off when they have a movie coming out. Because I know you said,
That's a good point, yeah.
like, whatever, that's why they could take I think you said in the group chat, like, they can take a break because of the movie. But I think that's the exact opposite why they shouldn't. Because you look at Battlefront, their sales have skyrocketed since Star Wars came out. Because it's that impulse buy, like, hey, I just got out of the theaters, I want to kill some stormtroopers, I want to be there fair, all that. So I think...
Well, actually, if we talk, like, maybe they want to have the movie come out and then make a game based on the movie. I mean, I guess since they have that stuff behind closed doors, they could already have that story within the game, like, come out.
That's true.
Coinciding, but that could be a potential reason.
Yeah, that's true.
And that would confuse a lot of people, too, because if you have this movie coming out based on the new Assassin...
That's true as well.
That'll introduce a lot of people to the series, for sure.
Yeah, because then, if someone did go out... Yes and no, because people go play Battlefront, but it has nothing to do with Force Awakens still, though. It's still an impulse buy. Like, that's the only thing I think that I think you guys made some good points. I think that's the only thing they miss out on. It's just, like, the whole, like, if they like the movie, get a theater, hey, I'm going to buy this game.
But Star Wars,
I understand
Star Wars, everyone knows. They know the characters and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
Assassin's Creed, it's a new genre coming, and it's new.
That's the thing with Star Wars, right? It's everywhere, where Assassin's Creed is just a video game. And I guess there's comic books, too, but it's not known for its comic books, at least.
Yeah. No, that's true. Yeah. Okay, no, that's fair. So then, maybe 2017. But then, what is the game in 2017 supposed to be about? Rumored, which is another thing that gets me excited. That like in 2017, I might try it if it looks good. Like, anyways, continue.
Well, it's supposed to be Egyptian themed, which has been.
You've talked about like that in the past. That's what the next location, I guess, you want.
Yeah, I think it would be really, really cool. And that's been kind of rumored at ever since, Assassin's Creed 3 when that was in the works, it was rumored mostly to be the American Revolution, but there was a lot of rumors going around that it would be in Egypt as well. It was one of the two of those time periods, but I think Egypt would be an amazing setting. It is really weird when you play an Assassin's Creed game, because we come to expect, like, Assassin's Creed 2 is in like the 1500s in Italy, and then Assassin's Creed 3 has jumped forward a few hundred years, and then so forth. It jumps ahead. So if Egypt is in like the 1900s,
it's today's Egypt you're playing in. So cool.
I don't know about that. Would be that would be kind of awkward. I don't like knowing that they may jump back in time. I like the games that the Assassin's Creed games keep going forwards. And I could see like Assassin's Creed Syndicate being in the 1800s. I think it works really well.
Why do you not like it? Why would you not like it if it goes back? Like what's the specific reason for not wanting to go back in time?
Because I think it would be kind of cool to go back, and maybe they could have crossovers and all that from the previous games. But I like seeing the story progress. I'm not really interested in going back in time and.
Could be a part of the story you didn't know, though. That's a good thing.
That's true. I mean, either way, I would still.
Oh, yeah, you're gonna be dropping the $70.
Yeah, easily.
Because my only thing is, like, what time period are they in now? In the last game?
Right now, they're in Victorian London.
And then what? So that's I just mean. I think maybe when they go back, maybe it's so they don't eventually, because eventually with enough games they could catch up to our time, and I don't think I think you could maybe want one Assassin's Creed game in this time, but I feel like that's kind of Watch Dogs in a way.
We've already in the Assassin's Creeds where he plays Desmond, so 1 through to 3, you get to play in the present day
as an assassin, though.
Well, you it's not full on like at Assassin's Creed 3. You play as Desmond as a full on assassin, pretty much. Like he has the wrist blade, and you have to go into Abstergo, and you have to do all this stuff. So you get to experience that modern day assassin kind of technique, and even in Syndicate. And Unity, there's flashes, and Syndicate, I love it because it has all these cutscenes of the present day assassins working and doing all these things, and they're talking to you, and you're going to the Animus, reliving the memories of Jacob and Evie Fry, but it still shows a lot of the present day assassins still doing tons of work, and it's really, really, really cool. So we've gotten a bit of that experience already in the present day.
Okay.
Nothing like a full-on game, though.
Okay, so Assassin's Creed... gonna be not delayed, but like pushed back, like whatever, released 2017, rumored to be about Egypt, and then Watch Dogs 2 rumored to come out this year, which I think they'll probably announce at E3. How do you feel about all this news, Taylor, as you're the main proponent of like a Ubisoft person?
I'm happy
speechless.
With it. I'm speechless. Like with Watch Dogs 2, considering the change up between Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, I'm really, really excited to see what happens and what comes in the works with that. I hope probably E3 will see something.
Yeah.
Ubisoft will have something in the works. And then I'm really looking forward to Assassin's Creed, because I think like if they're doing this year off, if that rumor is true, then it'll make so many people just take a nice breath of fresh air. And I think when they pump out that next game next year, I think tons of people who've given up on this series will give it another shot, and I think it would be a nice clean sweep for all the Assassin's Creed games.
Yeah. No, I'd have to agree, because I think with the movie you might have some extra hype. 2 years off is good because there'll actually be some excitement, because it's not like Call of Duty where like, oh, it's just you expect it, like it'd be a nice little break. And yeah, what do you think? You think that's a good...
I think Taylor makes a good point in that like I've actually never bought an Assassin's Creed game. I've played a few of them, but like just talking about Egypt and like after taking a break, maybe put a little, like more work into the game, maybe some better online because that's a big thing I'm into as well. I might even check it out too, and that's from a like non-Assassin's Creed player perspective. So I think it's good.
Yeah. All right, so it's a verified good and whatnot. So
yeah, there's one thing I forgot to mention. In Assassin's Creed 2, when you're playing as the assassin and you learn about the assassins and stuff, you go into this chamber. I think it's 2. It's either 2 or Brotherhood, but you go into this chamber.
Chamber of Secrets?
Chamber of Secrets,
yeah, and the guy named Harold Potter is there.
You see all these statues of several different assassins, and one of them is an Egyptian assassin. So at least I don't know if that's a huge foreshadow, but I mean
they were planning it all along.
They might have. Like Assassin's
7
Creed,
years
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood already had hints to Unity and Assassin's Creed 3. And that
so they sold statues of just like eyes for Unity.
Yeah,
fake.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never had any bugs.
Probably somewhere.
I don't know any of those glitches.
In Empire, if it is in Egypt, do you want it? Yeah, do you want mummies?
Well, like actual mummies coming back from the dead?
Yeah.
No, I don't want mummies.
No, okay.
I want Cleopatra times. Let's go.
Yeah. Aren't there? Oh, I guess mummies came later, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know much about Egyptian
history. And then in the statues,
it's pretty old. That's all I know.
That's true. And then go watch Brendan Fraser's The Mummy. In this, the statues. Were there any other ones that like other than Egypt? Because another rumor has been that Rome was or maybe rumored for Empire. Then they said they weren't like the Egyptian thing is not 100% yet. They just said that's a strong possibility, but then there's those Rome rumors going around. So like, was there anything to hint towards that, or is that just like left field? Because that could be cool too in Rome time. Like
eventually they're gonna have to do an Assassin's Creed on like the moon or something.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, eventually.
That's gonna be exciting.
Pitch it to Ubisoft.
I will.
Yeah.
I think, like, I heard about that too. I think Rome would be cool. Like, we've already had huge exploration of Venice, Italy, and Rome. Brotherhood took place all in Rome, so we've already explored it.
I didn't know that.
The whole game took place there. To be able to go back and play in, like, the Roman times, I think that would be really, really cool.
That would be, yeah.
I know a lot more people, if they said it was, like, Japan, I think that would be instantly just people would buy the game in a heartbeat because
I think that should be on their hit list next. I think that's what they need to do. It almost reminds me of like Survivor, of where like where the places it's kind of important. That's where I think Assassin's Creed is before the break. Like with the break now, I think it's not as bad because you'll have people refresh and not playing it. But before, when they weren't taking a break, I always thought they had to have somewhere like really cool. So you'd be like, oh, I don't want to play that because it takes place here. I want to take the
And they've hinted at it a lot too. I mean, just in Syndicate, you could change Evie Fry's robes to a Japanese assassin robes, and then you could.
Isn't there like knockoff games online?
Yeah, there's one called Assassin's Creed Chronicles. They're releasing 2 new games this year actually, and you could play as Russia. I think it's Nikolai Orlov, and then you can play in India actually as an Indian assassin.
And
that would be cool actually.
Does Ubisoft like produce these, or
they're kind of like 3D side scrollers, not like your generic side scrollers, but the map it's a really interesting twist. They're not like huge games, but but they do have one of those side scroller games called Chronicle for one Japanese assassin, and then there's a short film that Ubisoft put out called Embers, Assassin's Creed Embers, and that's based on this Japanese assassin. So they've put a lot of time and effort into Japan, so I'm surprised that they haven't actually put out a game or anything for Japan.
Yeah, I think I'd play the Japan one too. I'd play a lot of them. Any place in particular you'd want to?
Rutland. I'm actually down. Rutland. That would be
that's the most dangerous place.
I think that India one sounds pretty cool.
The India one does sound
cool.
I think
that Japan, of course. Egypt. I'm down for Egypt. Canada. Bring me to Canada.
Yeah.
Take me home.
Assassin's Creed with mummies I still want, but it doesn't sound like Taylor's too.
They should do like Louis Riel as the main.
Louis Riel.
Canadian history. Here we go. That's what I want.
Where's another place?
That's my dream Assassin's Creed is playing as Louis Riel.
You didn't know his main secret. He was an assassin. That's how they wanted to really hunt him down. I was gonna say the other thing too. I've never played it, but I'm surprised they've never tried to spin off. Especially now, they might not because it doesn't exist. That they'll do it every year. But I'm surprised they haven't done more Black Flag because everyone seems to really like that game. People that don't even like play Assassin's Creed like, oh yeah, I really like that Black Flag one, and I was wondering like. Do you think they'd ever do something like that in the future? Because everyone seemed like the pirate thing. I almost bought that. I think it just happened that it came out time like, oh, I was playing this, I'll get to it. I never did. But I remember seeing that. I was like, I do want to play that because I love pirates. I've always wanted to be a pirate, a cowboy, and a gangster. Those are my three. Like old time, like gangster. Not now. Not like
not a
to unit. No, like not a. Yeah, but that's something achievable. I can't be a cowboy. Like
why not?
I can't like outlaw cowboy. You know, like that. And I can't be.
Probably wouldn't go.
No, I can't be a pirate. I can't be like mafia or the gangster like with the Tommy guns and like.
But we can play mafia.
We can. Fake cop hashtag.
Kill Dylan first night vigilante. Here we go.
Sorry.
So what was the question again?
Oh, what? Do you think that would do? Do you think that would do anything with Black Plague?
Oh yeah.
Like as a sequel or something with the same main character.
Anything. That's why I said anything. That's why I left it pretty broad open. Because I'm not sure.
Honestly, I think so. Out of all the Assassin's Creeds, I would pick Black Flag to go back to. Like I'd easily play Assassin's Creed 2 again, but Black Flag I would go back to in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that, being a pirate, and spoiler alert if you haven't played it. Well, not that much of a spoiler, but
I'll take the spoiler.
Okay.
I'll take one for the team. Being
just a not really even a pirate, but just you're a crewman, and then your ship comes under attack by
There's not much of a spoiler.
Well, it gets deep in there. Your ship comes under attack by an assassin gone rogue, and you're the only survivor, and you end up washing ashore, and you kill the assassin and take his robes, and you just roll with it, and then you end up joining the Templars by accident, and then he's like, I'm not gonna roll with this, and he doesn't want to roll with the assassins either, and he causes shit for both sides just to further his own gain as a pirate, and he's friends with like Blackbeard and all that, and you're doing all this crazy shit. And then he ends up joining the assassins, and it's a really, really awesome development for a character, because you never really seen that in the other Assassin's Creed games.
So he couldn't just go back to being a pirate, really, if he joined the Templars.
He could have, but he got in too deep with all the stuff he was doing, and all the pirates that I'm not gonna say.
Assassin's probably a better gig anyway than a pirate.
So maybe Ubisoft should just make up just a Pirates franchise game of some sort.
I think they should. Like,
maybe they should talk to Disney.
Should take over the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, they should talk to Disney and get
should.
Johnny Depp all over that. Voice, everything, mocap.
I played one of those Pirates of the Caribbean games. It's pretty fun.
I did too. I think it was a lot funner when I was that age. Which one did you play?
I don't know. I probably shouldn't think about it because it's probably a bad game, but I liked it back in the day.
I played one based on the third one. It was called The World's End, and like you would just like.
I think it had David Jones in it.
Yeah, I think I played it too, and it's like fun enough. But it's like if you play it now, you're like, this is kind of boring. But like I think at the age,
it's not a game I own today. But...
No, I own it still. It's on the 360.
I didn't like it that much, I guess.
No.
I think I just rented it. I don't even remember why we're talking about this.
I don't know. Because Ubisoft should make a Pirates of the Caribbean game. That's why.
I think they should.
Hashtag Ubisoft.
Well, they're coming out with that amusement park or something, aren't they?
Well, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Taylor's so excited. But
wait, was that ever like confirmed, or was that just like a thing?
It's confirmed, but I don't think it's gonna take off.
Or they just buy Egypt and make that like a
buy Egypt.
I don't know if you can buy Egypt.
Maybe if that Fassbender movie is really successful, maybe if it's as good as Star Wars Force Awakens, which today it was officially announced that they beat Avatar domestically in North America. So
really,
they just got the domestic and they can take it over. So go see Star Wars, please. Avatar cannot be the #1 movie for much longer. Kill me.
Until Avatar 2.
That won't. No, it won't. There's too much hate on now. So is there anything else you want to mention on the Ubisoft Assassin's Creed front before we trug along?
Not really. Just I'm looking forward to the movie, and I'm hoping that
big year for you. You got a movie, you got a game moving, you got like everything. Like big year for the Assassin's Creed fan. Hopefully it goes well.
Yeah, I mean I gotta do more research into it, and I'm hoping, because how many months away are we from E3?
June.
So wow.
July.
Is it? I think it's. I don't know. I thought it was July. I thought it's like July 11th, and I think so.
Okay.
Find out an exact date while you're.
Usually around, what is it, like April or May. That's usually when people always sprout out leaked images.
The classic month.
Yeah.
Unity had quite a fair bit, and then Syndicate got a bunch of leaked images.
June 14th to the 16th.
June
so
14th.
We're in January now, so February, March, April, May, June. So 5 months.
5 months. Okay. About half of that. That's usually
Sorry.
when
5 months.
Yeah, I don't know why I look at my hand.
One hand, 5 fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
about half that time. Then that's usually like in 2.5 months from now. That's usually when leaked kind of photos pop up. And so if we start hearing more news about Watch Dogs than any Assassin's Creed, I think it's safe to say way before E3 to know if.
I think it's safe to say because Ubisoft said we will not comment on any game rumors right now, and I think that's a full on like, yeah, this is happening, but we want to announce it. So I think that was a full on like, they almost should not said anything. That would have been less of a confirmation. To me, that really confirmed it. Of like,
I think they're just kidding. They're just teasing. Playing mind games.
All right.
Well, if you want to keep up with all the Assassin's Creed news, like GeekVerse, we cover the bigger news, but if you want
overall
news, if you want the
yeah.
more nitty gritty, check out Assassin's Creed Universe.
For just Assassin's Creed though, not for like I'm gonna post Batman stuff. It won't be more Batman stuff on Assassin's Creed. Just So if you like anything you've heard, if you're a new fan of the franchise, definitely check out his page. There's lots of stuff. Despite you saying you don't post much, there's still.
Well, I tried to. Just recently, I haven't been able to post.
Holidays,
much.
Give us one more month. Well, no, it's one more week. I feel like, well, look at this. We're already doing newscasts again.
Here we are.
Holidays, everyone's busy,
Mm-hmm.
And speaking, you're talking about mind games from Ubisoft. I'm going to speak about mind games right now because a couple days ago, hashtag flawless transition. A couple days ago, and these are still just rumors. Nothing's been confirmed yet, but it's one of these things where it gets picked up by so many good, like big sources that you kind of. It's one of these like it's gonna happen. So the rumor is that Daredevil is gonna release their season 2 on the same day as Batman vs Superman as they launch. Now, as like obviously I got my thoughts. What do you guys thought? You guys both haven't seen Daredevil, but like obviously lots of people talk about that big show and whatnot, and obviously like one's DC, one's Marvel. What do you guys think? Like, is this a coincidence or is this like kind of drawn the line of like the kind of a war is officially like starting that they're trying to like? What do you guys think from an outside perspective?
Marvel wants that monopoly on superhero. They just have so much power right now. They have so many different projects that they're working on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of
so you feel it's a power move?
Kind of slimy. I think a little risky though, because I feel like no matter what, Batman vs Superman
gotta make that dough.
That's the bread and butter right there.
Yeah.
I think the same. I mean, sure, Daredevil is a good TV series. I mean, I haven't seen it, but from what I heard, it's pretty good.
Yeah, no one really says anything negative about it. Like,
I still think
it's true. It's hard to find someone that says so like this sucks. Like, no, it's all good.
I still think that if you compare TV series that you can watch anytime, whenever you want on your Netflix, and then a awesome superhero movie that we haven't like.
We hope is
Batman.
awesome.
We hope it's awesome.
Yeah,
like,
we don't know.
A new Batman movie with Superman returning in it and all that, and tons of new action. I think a huge, big movie like that's gonna surpass just your average TV series.
Yeah, but you think it's a like a move by Marvel? You don't think it's a coincidence?
Oh, I think they're fucking at each other's throats.
Oh my god! Whoa! I feel like it's friendly competition, but. No, the way I look at it, of course, Batman vs. Superman is going to have this mega weekend. Like, it's going to do really well. But I feel like it does take a few people... I feel like it does even take a few small numbers. Because this is the thing, and this is what I'll bring to you, because you agree with me more on the trailer. When Emily saw the trailer, that second one... If that is our secretary, by the way, yeah. She saw it, and I apparently have to force her to go with things. But she's like, if you didn't make me go to Batman vs Superman, I'd probably just stay in the weekend and watch Daredevil, especially now that it's been announced. So I feel like there's a couple people that if they didn't like the trailer, it's just another thing of like I could see it another weekend. I don't think the people like that don't go see it that weekend, they'll probably still go see it, but they want the opening numbers, right? They want that headline of like we opened at like whatever 120 million, whatnot, and. I don't think it's going to hurt it massively. I don't think it'll be like drop a bunch, but I think it will affect a few people who either aren't that interested in, already have Netflix, because let's be honest, if you have Netflix already and you're on a budget, like, and that's even if you're going alone, if you have kids or a significant other, like a movie now is almost like $15, you can kind of think. So it's like Netflix is already there, paid for. You got all Daredevil for the entire weekend too. They're not even just taking up a day. It's not like, oh, you can go see a movie and then go see Batman. It's a whole weekend. So I don't think it'll have like a mega hit, but I feel like it'll have a small little thing. Because even like you said the same thing, you didn't like love the trailer. And I feel like there's a few people, if they're not like us who like do reporting on this, they might be like, you know what, I'll go see it another weekend, which is still good for the movie, but they want people the first weekend. They want the big numbers. They want to say that they had a bigger weekend than Civil War. Like they want, and
exactly, yeah.
That's the thing. And it's so funny. We talked about this way early when we first started podcasting, but originally what happened was, what was it? Oh, originally Civil War and Batman vs Superman were supposed to come out the same day. And Batman vs. Superman buckled and they moved. And it's just so funny that they buckle and move, but Marvel's still like, no, like, it's not a movie, but you still got Daredevil. So, yeah, like, I don't, like, and some people are like, oh, it's not a war, like, they're not at war. Like, no, like, that's just, like, war is, like, just, like, a fun term to throw on. The same way as Xbox and Sony, they're at war. At the end of the day, they're not, like, Xbox isn't, like, tampering with their games or anything. It's just, like, a friendly competition. And if you don't think they're friendly competition, you're stupid, because they're the one, like, whoever's leading, they get the market, they get the toys and everything. Like, they want kids to have them as their, like, bed sheets and their birthdays. So they're definitely, like, it's a friendly war. And I think it's, like, with Xbox and Sony, you get that a lot more because there's games and you got, like, E3. That's a competition right there. You know, every year it's, like, who had the better E3. And it's one of these things now. It's, like, you know that weekend, if someone watches Batman and then they watch Daredevil, they could be like, oh, Daredevil was so much better. But it doesn't matter because they're so, you can't, it's hard to compare them because they're TV and movie. Right. But still, you might get that whole, like, oh, Daredevil's so better. And it's just, like, a little, like, we've never had anything come on the same day. So this is, like, the first time there's, like, hey, like.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Taylor said in that, like, it's not quite the same as if they just put out, like, another movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a Netflix TV show. It'll be there. It's still going to be... You still have your Netflix. It's still going to be there. So at the end of the day, it's not like a huge deal.
No.
But I definitely agree. It will take some people away.
I think it just makes like a little splash. You know, like a little, like, maybe they lose like a couple like thousands or like even like a 1 million. Like, because there are people that might just stay in and watch it, you know? Like, and that's a good thing too, that it is like... really, like, we talk about in the cast, people have seen it, but people, like, all around, people say it's, like, a really good show. Like, some people say it's the best thing Marvel's done. So it's not just, like, oh, like, here you go, it's just some random, like, Marvel thing. At least it's something of note, but, so, yeah. Did you have something to add there?
No.
Oh, I thought you did. You set up, so. But, no, that was just, I guess, my thoughts on it. I think it's, like, the official.
I mean, the people who are into that sort of thing, just superhero, all those movies and TVs, they're gonna see
those
it anyway.
People like me.
They're gonna see both of them anyway, right?
Oh, 100%. Well, my plan is we will likely be seeing Batman on the Thursday. Daredevil won't come out till Friday, so it doesn't affect me. I'm gonna see Batman Thursday night, and then Friday Daredevil will be there. You know, like, it's not that hard to pull off. It's more like the mainstream people. Common fans, they'll see them both. As much as they might say it's a big deal, it could be, but you're gonna watch them both. Like, unless you hate one or the other. But
I think, like, even after that trailer, you said, like, it was kind of half and half split between people who liked the trailer and people
well, Taylor, remember we did the podcast with him, he liked it.
Yeah and I don't, it doesn't even really matter, people are going to see it anyway.
Oh yeah, we're going to see it no matter what anyways, you know. And then that's the other thing too that helped. It was like, we only talked about this in our group chat, but it was screened for some people, and like the people that saw it really enjoyed it, like critics and people said, like, best superhero movie since The Dark Knight and this and that. So it's like, it's getting, and it's purposely done that so people go out there and spread the good word. So so anything else you want to add before we move on?
Nope.
You both need to see Daredevil before March is what I'll add. You're fair. You're finished
done
Hannibal. How deep are you in? Like, what number episode in season 3?
I'd say probably 3 or 4.
Okay, they're still in like Italy,
but it's
and
not like it's not like a 20 episode show, you know. So,
oh, I know. I know.
I'm good. I'm doing good.
They're still in Italy and whatnot. Like, they're still Roman or whatever. I can't remember where they go. I think they go to Italy.
I think they're in France. I thought they were in Paris.
Either way, they're somewhere not in North America. But okay, they're still doing that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yeah, you need to watch Hannibal, and then you got to watch Daredevil.
Hannibal, then Daredevil.
No, Daredevil first because you can catch up on it. Hannibal, like, you should be covered by Mark.
Hannibal.
But yeah, #save Hannibal. But you should. Everyone.
If you haven't heard, Hannibal's been canceled. So.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And pretty much everyone on the cast says it's a good show. You got to watch it. It might be a little too dark, but because you're so positive.
Very good show.
I'm not that positive. I'm a bit of a negative Nancy. You doing okay there?
Oh yeah. You want to talk about the next one, which would be the Rift?
Oh yeah. So
our last piece of news today, just a mini newscast.
Is it called VR or is it just Rift?
It's Oculus Rift.
Well, VR is all
Rift.
of that stuff.
Yeah.
Virtual reality.
Oh yeah,
the
right.
whole genre.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why there's PlayStation VR, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, today it's okay. He gave me enough time to cough up The blood. No.
Oh god.
What was I gonna
No
say?
blood. That was a joke.
Yeah. Let's hope.
No, we're not losing Travis. He's
No.
alive.
No. If Hannibal comes back, you might lose me to heart attack.
Yeah.
Oh, and then. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So today, last piece of news: Oculus Rift. I won't clarify what it does or does not because I didn't even know that. I thought it was just for Xbox.
It's an Xbox exclusive.
No, it's Oculus Rift. Not
Don't
Xbox
spread
exclusive.
misinformation.
Yeah, so apparently it can be used for both, which I truthfully had to pause for a second and read an article that it comes with an Xbox One controller, and we were just talking that seems very strange, but obviously they're partnered somewhere. But anyway, so it's been talked about for a while. Same with PlayStation VR, what is the pricing gonna be? Because it's a whole new piece of hardware, whatnot, new gaming and whatnot. Taylor and I know because of a group chat that we have, and Dylan just happened not to see. What would be your guess?
$160.
Why do you pick that number?
I have no idea.
So it's just pure guess?
Sure.
Okay, higher.
$200.
Higher.
$230.
Why the 30? Wouldn't it be $229.99?
Everything has been a guess so far. Higher?
Higher.
Okay. Let's make a big jump. $300.
There you go.
Higher.
Higher?
Higher.
I'm not buying this.
I know. I know.
$400.
Higher.
What? Oh my god.
How much would you pay for rent?
Because that's what you're going to be paying for the
Run
rent.
on the streets, play Oculus Rift in a cardboard box. $550.
Higher.
$700.
Lower.
Oh, nice. Good for you guys.
It's not.
600.
It's not.
600.
Well, you spoiled it.
$0.
I thought you were going to say it. I heard the 600 and then I heard and.
For those of you that can't see,
$599.
Dylan's like 600 and Taylor's like, yeah, thumbs up, you got it. No, but yeah, it's not just.
I was going to say $650.
It's $600.
All right. Yeah, wow. That's not what I expected whatsoever.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's not even close.
No, because
Those
most
were all
people,
genuine guesses that I thought would be logical, but here we go.
Because they've been trying to guess who's gonna announce it first and whatnot, and, who would go. So it's 600. I think what is it? You can pre-order them and buy them in March, right? Mm-hmm. And then they're gonna come to you around Mayish. Who knows? But anyways, in March you can start purchasing. So yeah, $600. And I was always thinking of what are the prices gonna be? Because even the PlayStation, what's this? Oh, I'm blanking. What's the PlayStation president? What's Sony's president? Oh.
I am a Nintendo/Steam user, so.
Oh, I know his name. I mean, there's so much cred.
Asian name, doesn't he?
Oh, thanks, Taylor.
Doesn't he?
Iwata.
There you go.
I just
No.
remembered. What?
Iwata. That's
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my god. You thought
I know.
you were
I know he's an Asian guy because he was in South Park one of the episodes.
Oh my god.
He's an Asian guy because PlayStation's out of Japan.
Shuhei Yoshida. Now I remember.
I didn't actually.
No,
I don't know if I've
knew-
ever heard that name before.
I hate because I listen to a bunch of gaming podcasts. Listen to IGNs. I listen to PS I Love You. I listen to lots. So his name's always hammer my head and oh yeah, Shuhei. That's what they call him. Of course, on my podcast when it comes to drop his name, I'm like, no idea. Just totally blank.
Well,
And,
actually, I don't think we've ever mentioned his name before in the cast.
no, because they're so
that name is
successful.
not-
We don't have to
we
critique
don't have to
them.
worry about them. Yeah,
Yeah,
'Cause they're doing great.
We can talk
Shout outs
about
to Shuhei
Nintendo
Yoshida.
and Phil Spencer and all. No, anyways, back to VR. That was the whole thing of what the price can be. And Shuhei said that it was going to be pretty much the same price as a console for the PlayStation one. But that's where you were joking off, guys. Oh yeah, PlayStation's dead. But if their console, if they price it the console, they're 300, they're around 400 to 500. So they're even cheaper than the Rift. But 600, I'm not buying it. I don't think I'm buying a VR headset regardless now.
The only chance we have is if the whole Geekverse wants to group together. And buy
Pretty
one.
much,
And
yeah.
even then, that's still expensive.
So there's 6 of us now, and yeah, because it says, and it specifically says $600 does not include tax and shipping.
So you'll probably be up
Really?
to almost $700.
Yeah, $750, depending, especially if you're in Canada, probably for us.
Goddamn Canada, here we go.
Yeah, so
They can get away with charging that much though, because they're their own independent company, right? And there's no really other competition out there for this kind of game technology
Yeah, but
yet.
you say they can get away with it. Yeah, they can get away with it, but can they get anything out of it is the question.
I think
They're
can.
looking for a profit here. You know?
You think they can? Tell me why.
Because
I think $600 is outrageous.
How many people do you know are gonna buy it?
Are you gonna buy it?
I don't know anyone personally. I mean, if I honestly have like a couple extra $100, I will.
But you don't.
You don't know.
Not
It's
right
not
now.
a couple hundred extra.
Yeah.
It's 700 roughly.
Well, now that I know the price, I can start saving up. But like honestly,
that's like you could buy a car if you want.
You could buy another console if you wanted to. You could buy a console and a car, maybe. Yeah, you could buy a nice cheap car and a console and a couple games.
The thing is, though, like your average kid's not gonna get it for Christmas. No way, unless
No.
they're spoiled rotten. But it's a new technology. Like it's the inevitable step that we're going with video games, as far as I'm concerned. That's where we're heading, and it's the first of its kind, really, for gaming consoles. So I think people are gonna want it.
There's pros and cons to that too, because then it's gonna have issues.
Oh yeah.
So you have to take that into account. If you're paying $700, you want something. Obviously, it'll be polished, but there is going to be issues they're going to run into, of course. There has to be, since it's the first of its kind.
I feel bad for those unfortunate souls.
I'm very interested to see what it sells, because they are all like, oh yeah, like we probably won't make a profit for a while. Like I don't know. It's like, I feel like when we've talked about this before, and we were roughly, I think to me and maybe the community always thought that it was maybe roughly going to be 300 to 500, somewhere in there. And I could kind of I would not still get it at 300, because I don't want to get it when there's problems. I don't want to spend another 300, especially with the rumors of like Nintendo having a new console.
Yeah.
Like between Nintendo and VR, I'm going to pick Nintendo, because VR is just starting out. But like, I could maybe see 300, 350. I could still kind of see 400. Pushing it, but I could maybe see 450 is probably the most I could see. Like the average family being, you know what, we could shell it out, get it for our kid. But I feel like once you cross the 500 mark, that is, once you hear 500, that is the like stamp of like that's too much. And you look at like PS3 at the beginning, it kind of bombed and did terribly because it was 500 and they sold at this huge price.
I don't know if you guys know the answer to this question. When you buy this VR thing, do you have to buy games too, or does it come with a set of games?
Came with 2. The bundle comes with 2 games.
So you still have to buy individual games.
I think so. That's how it should.
Which, if we're chilling in Canada, it's $80 for a game. This might be more because it's a different kind of game.
Yeah.
That's really, you're going to look at $1,000 just to get like a good setup here.
Yeah.
And that's if you have a console. Like I don't even have a console, so I'd have to buy a console too.
That's what I was going to bring up, was a console. And I just don't see how it's going to sell. And I feel like it's going to end up being like, I don't know, like PlayStation Move or like Xbox's version of like with Kinect. Like those didn't sell, and you look at Kinect doesn't exist anymore. You know, like it does, but like it's not a thing anymore. Like
what do you mean? It's still a big thing for the One.
The next console you think is gonna have a Kinect?
I think it'll be more built in, but I think it'll have something like.
But that's what I mean. It's not gonna have. But it's not a You can buy a separate of just Xbox One, and you can buy Xbox One Kinect. Those ones do not sell as much.
That was based on just huge demands, and then Xbox just really screwed themselves with it a bit, because you needed the Kinect for the Xbox and all that, and so they changed it.
Well, they didn't. Yeah, that was stupid. But still, that's the same thing. Kinect on the shelves you put there, it's not selling, right? And I feel like because it went for around like 200. Like originally, like just a Kinect by itself go 200 or 100.
Do you mean like the new Kinects?
No, just like
or the originals?
Did they sell? They don't sell separate Kinects anymore, do
Not
they?
the new ones. I haven't ever seen them.
So if they don't sell them separately and they only come in the box, like they're not really making them. The only thing they'll do is put them in, and that's why I wonder with virtual reality, it might be great, but I don't know. Maybe we'll get to a point where virtual reality is big and it comes with like the PS5 and the next Xbox, but I don't really believe. And lots of critics say it's great and all, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to sell alone.
You even talk about like your price range personally, Travis. Like even after years worth of like price drops, that's still gonna be
in my price range.
It's still gonna be like really expensive.
And if at 300, 400, I was like, I would consider buying it, but it would take a lot of goodwill, a lot of good games, and a lot of like this is the next step. Like, and that was just for me to like consider it. But at 600, there's no considering. Like, I don't care. I don't even care if they announce, hey, the next Batman Arkham game's on there. Like, sorry, I'm not playing it then. That's it's outrageous. And like they'll say you already need a console to play it, like to play those games. And right now there's 2 shipping with it. There's 2, so you hope you like those games.
They're being because they're selling with PlayStation and Sony and Steam. So obviously they have like huge companies backing them up. So that's
Yeah.
obviously a really good start. If they were just by themselves
point.
without without any connections to Microsoft or something,
They'd be dead in the water.
Yeah, I'd be very concerned. I think they'd be screwed. But they've got the connections, so they obviously feel really confident.
Yeah, they just have to prove that it's not something that like you go to your friend's house, play it a couple times, and think, oh, that's cool.
It's not a gimmick. It's not like
Yeah, they have to prove that's something that you want to buy. You need this. You know?
And they need good games. Like, and I feel like Kinect and PlayStation Move didn't have. They had like alt-right games, but I don't think there's. I think if you look at, I could be wrong. I could totally be wrong. But if you look at like top critics of gaming, and they were to make a top 100 games of like ever, I don't think you'll see a Kinect or PlayStation Move game in there. And you'd see some Wii games in there, but that's because you had to do that. And like, even then, look at Nintendo. They're moving away from that because it didn't really pan out eventually. Like, it was kind of like cool for a little while, but that's what VR has. It can't be something that, like Dylan said, that's cool for a little while. It has to be cool. It has to be like something you want to play all the time, where you might want to, but at $600, I would never been able to convince my... Like, I was lucky I got a couple consoles for Christmas, but like, you got that in a game, and whatever else was like, hopefully your grandparents got you or something. Like, there's no chance. Like, so I don't see kids being able to, because
No, definitely not.
like I said, you could, like, as they're looking at it for a gaming thing, like, that's my whole thing of like, we go like, oh, they want you, like, hopefully a kid will try it out and really want it, but I don't know if a kid's gonna be able to try it out, because who's gonna have this other than like, do you think a kid will have this under 13? You think a kid or family will own this? That's
Honestly,
not like a modern, like a not like a mid society, mid class, not like a guy that's making $1 million to like $6K.
Oh yeah, I can see it, because like even my brother, my brother, for example, he already has a PlayStation or whatever, and his kids share it, right? But for
he doesn't have an Xbox.
No, he's a PlayStation.
Oh, you couldn't convince them?
Taylor's even alone in his family.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm an outcast. But he had a PlayStation 4, and like, we're all like just middle class, my family or whatever. But you know, on Christmas, like, he bought his son his own PlayStation 4 with a TV. So I mean, I think middle class families would invest in something like that.
But with
this,
I think
you need the PlayStation, you need the TV, and now you need this other thing too. Like
which only one kid can play and take turns.
And then you need to buy games.
Yeah, it's not like a controller, $60. Oh, another controller, $600 for another VR headset.
The consoles have been out for over 2 years now, so if you don't have the consoles, I doubt a middle class family would get the console with the Oculus Rift. If you have the console as being a middle class family, then I'm sure you probably might get the Oculus Rift. But I think if you're not, like,
I disagree with that.
No. But
I'm sure you might. I disagree.
I think the majority of the Oculus Rift users will be computer players. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think they'll be 17 and older, because I don't think a kid will be able to convince their parent that is not a gamer. That's different. Your brother plays games, right?
When he can, yeah.
But did he play games before he had kids?
Yeah.
So he's a gamer. So my mother, who's not a gamer, I don't know if I could, like, back in that day, convince her. I know a console, but like, that's like Dylan said, I can convince her a console, but a console and an Oculus Rift. Like I said, if it was like, now we're gonna start selling the Xbox One and the PS4 with. You could have a regular version, or you have the Oculus Rift included, and maybe it's $200 more. I know that doesn't work out price-wise, but let's say they worked out some deal. So it's like, okay, $600, even maybe $700, you get like the console and the thing. It's like, okay, I can kind of see that. But $600 just, $700 just alone for the Rift. Like that, I don't know. I just don't see it selling. I'm not saying it's going to bomb or not do good, but just right away at this point, it's just, I don't see what game. I don't see any game you could throw on that, and people, like, you'd have to throw a bunch of games. Like, they'd have to start saying, like, now we're just making a Halo exclusive one. We'd have to, and I don't think they will, because you didn't see that for Kinect, and like, you look at something like Vita, you saw that very rarely. And then once it stopped selling, no more like, oh, here's your God of War. Like, they did one Uncharted game, things like that. But then now there's no big titles on there. Like, the biggest title I saw was like a Lego Marvel coming out. You know, like, if it doesn't sell, they don't want to make games because that's a waste of resources. I don't know. How do you feel? Like, you think, like, sell wise? Because you think it's gonna sell good.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't. I just think that's just
based
too
on
high.
Like what I've said already, like just price wise that you already need. I imagine if it's either like Steam, PlayStation, or Xbox, like you probably need at least a decent computer to do this anyway. So either way, you're gonna need to spot a console. like 700 is way too much, and then just like it's a new thing, so there's gonna be glitches no matter what. There's gonna be issues, so I can't justify buying something like that I know is just gonna be the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be amazing, the best thing ever, no issues. But I don't think that's very likely, personally.
If it is, then we'll chip in. Like,
then
we'll get one. But like even then, like that'd be like still $100, and it's just like it's just tough. And like I guess
now thinking about it, actually, even if the Geekverse did split up, we have two people on PC, two PlayStation. Like it's not gonna work.
And someone gets that Xbox controller too, apparently that it comes with. Remember, so we'd have to bet. Oh, you yeah.
One. Actually, Jessica has an Xbox too, right?
Yeah. So we'd have them smash it out.
She won the last Smash competition for the Pac-Man amiibo.
I had that until I fell off a cliff, so I feel like I could have got it. But yeah, I guess that's it. Like we'll have to see. Like obviously this year is. I feel like 2016 is gonna be. It's just a big year overall. Like we talk about movies coming out, but you think about games. If the VR race is starting. Obviously, Rift is out there. When does Xbox One or the HoloLens out, or they're coming out?
It's coming out.
It's coming out. Then you have PlayStation VR, and then if there isn't a Nintendo console, like that's a huge year. And that's the other thing. Year. That's a big year, but that's another year of like people's wallets could be split everywhere. So it's like they might not be. And you still got games that are now $80 to $60. It's no longer just like it feels like. That's especially at this age when I like live on my own and I pay rent and everything. When I buy a game now, it's just I better play this. Like I need to know how to play. It's like that's why I wait for reviews now. I don't just buy a game. Like I need to know that this is gonna be worth the $60, so I don't feel like that was a waste of money. What were you gonna say? Your thing.
Well, it went over my head, but I mean the Oculus Rift. Like we've just been looking at really for games. I don't know if they've really mentioned anything, but for movies, if you're at home and you're watching movies, that would be a huge change.
I think they showed something. I can't remember if it's a Rift. I thought they did something with that movie that came out called The Walk.
Yeah,
and you're on the tightrope. Yeah, and I think they did something where you had a demo where you did that. But that's not $600 worth. I'll go to Scania and get a shittier version, but. Which Scania has a shittier version of everything, but still, like
I'd rather just Scania. Yeah, hashtag save Scania.
Yeah. Please hashtag save Scania. But yeah, like I don't know. I just feel like like I said, there's nothing yet that is gonna be. I don't know. I don't know. There's nothing yet for me that's a streamlined thing, I guess we'll have to see whichever one we talk about it's succeeding. If it is successful, we'll just have to literally see which one porn gets behind, because whichever one porn gets behind, that'll be a successful one. Like you look at VHS and Blu-ray, everyone that they pick, they jump over, and people are gonna want to that might be the highest selling feature for some people. You can do games and movies, but porn
And they've already done videos of that, on Facebook
3D
and stuff.
movies and stuff.
Yeah, so I don't think that's not $600 worth, folks. But I don't know. Let us know.
Find Oculus Rift in your local sex shop now.
Maybe, yeah. Let us know if you have any thoughts and opinions on that. And did anyone have anything to add before we take that home?
No, I think we're talking everything.
We'll try. We'll bring it up on the next when we do our news one. Not squad. This week. Yeah, next week. We'll bring it up and get the rest of the crew's opinions and see what they think. Because I just think I think you might be alone here, Taylor.
I think your optimism is fooling you this time.
Kirkland's gonna have my back. Horror
for
games,
$600.
Horror games on that.
I think he might until you say $600 to $700.
Yeah,
don't say the price.
Don't say the price.
It's very
you can buy it blind. You don't get to know the price. You just hit buy, and then you get that paycheck later on, and but
you choose to buy one, then you get a random price in between $600 and $700.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
We flip a coin.
Yeah.
And before you tell us where we can be found and everything, we mentioned this a little on the next cast of New Year's, but we're going to mention a bit more. In the new year with SoundCloud, we've said we got lots of big specials and lots of ideas and whatnot. So a couple of them, we got not one, but two, but three shows coming right now that are specials that'll be popping up. Usually once a month, sometimes twice. It's not going to be that's not like every Wednesday there's this. It's just specials that we're going to do and throw up there. Myself, I got a comic book one where I just rant a bunch about comic books, and I love talking about these guys, but there's definitely times where I'd be like, oh, did you read Dark Knight Master Race issue 2? And they'd be like,
nope.
What's Master Race? So, and that's where it's with help of some other, and they're gonna be on it. They're gonna. Well, I know Dylan for sure is gonna be on one coming up. We just talked about like with the CW in a couple weeks, they're doing just an hour block of like, hey, we're showing Wonder Woman footage. Is that? So that's what that show. That show is literally just like, just comic book stuff. So I had lots of fun there. We just did. Well, not just did. Well, we did just do. We did. Hang on, I'll come back to that one. Then there's Rant Rave Repeat, which is literally sometimes that's myself with some friends. I'm sure Dylan will be on there with some friends. Sometimes me and Dylan. Like anybody can record. It's literally just the GeekVerse and their friends, and they're just kind of sitting around. And like, if you like our tangents, like our bloopers episode when we did the originals, or Tara talking about chicken, like it's just stuff that's just like random conversation. You know, like sometimes we still talk about movies. Like last time you and Liam on one episode coming up talked about the Hobbits versus the Star Wars prequels and which was worse. Like we get into just like, but they're non-topics other than a few weird stories.
Yeah,
but
usually you just find a good random news story that piques interest. Yeah.
Yeah, and then
it's
this
fun.
week,
It's a fun show.
Yeah, and then this week we just recorded our first, our final special show called The Standoff, and that was Teo and I. And we debated a few topics.
Very fiery. Very
yeah,
good debate.
yeah. We debated what was better between Stars A New Hope versus Force Awakens, PlayStation for Xbox exclusives. That's just a little sneak peek, but that'll be coming very soon. I think the very first special will be the comic book one because I gotta get that out before the CW one.
Right.
So that'll be, but I'll always announce it on the page. But yeah, we got a lot of good stuff, a lot of reviews and stuff like
2016
this.
will be a good year for
Yeah.
everyone, including the GeekVerse cast.
Yeah, stuff like this when we drop a random news Wednesday episode, like that's a great thing. We're just doing a lot of stuff that we want to try and get. If you're not a fan of, you're not a fan of video games, well then that might just be, if you're just a fan of comic books, you can listen to that. If you're just a fan of a couple idiots talking about, I don't know, anything and like anything, that's Rant Rave Repeat. If you like debates, if you like some fiery conversation, if you like when we do our Geek Verses, that'd be good for that. Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna be doing every show for every genre. I imagine once maybe she's done school, Kirkland and Jessica will want to do something anime. They've always talked about that. So 2016, big year, big time. Hashtag
2016
GeekVerse. Yeah, we'll think of a hashtag. And for all that information, if they want to find it in text, where can they find us?
Well, they can find us on Google.
I know you're stuck with Google.
Sticking with Google. Yep, you can go Google or Facebook. Either way, you type in GeekVerse Podcast. If you type it on Google, you see other stuff. But on Facebook, type it in the search bar, GeekVerse Podcast, and you'll see us right there. The icon pop up in the search bar. It's a G and a V. Click it, and you're going to have tons of awesome GeekVerse Podcast news.
Yep. Very nice. And same thing on Twitter, at GeekVerseCast for all your GeekVerse news, especially now. We'll be always updating the schedule and whatnot. Find us on SoundCloud for Android users if you just want to listen on your laptop. And iTunes. Make sure you subscribe, maybe resubscribe, because with our switch to SoundCloud, that kind of maybe
kinda
did a
messed
little
up some things.
with a little feed, but it's back there. It's just one. Right? We don't have two things going. It's just one, but like it's right there. Click it, subscribe. For our regular ones, every Saturday we're there. Usually drop around Saturday morning. I try to get that out as early as possible so you can start your weekend off with a little geek. But if you subscribe, you get random episodes like this when you're just like having a bad day off work. Boom, you have podcast GeekVerse. You just hear us talk about.
We got you covered.
Exactly. So
you aren't alone in the world.
Exactly. Thank you for listening. I hope you had a good New Year's. We'll get into that in our next cast, some New Year's stories and whatnot that we got into some shenanigans. Yeah, happy 2016 and
hashtag safe Hannibal. Thanks for listening.
Hashtag GeekVerse 2016. 2016 GeekVerse.
2016.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
There we go.
How long? I feel like that went longer than I thought it would.
It was subscribe.